your vocals sound like they're sitting on top of the beat rather than inside of it, this video is for you. Listen to this. Now listen to this. It's the exact same vocal, but now it actually sits in the mix. In this video, I'm gonna teach you 3 techniques to make that happen. I've been producing and mixing beats for years, and I've heard thousands of vocals. And a common theme among beginners is that their vocal sounds pasted on top of the beat. When a vocal sits in the mix, you can hear every word clearly, but it also sounds like the entire recording was made in one single room. Usually when vocals don't sit in the mix, it's for one of 3 reasons. The beat is too crowded, the vocal is too uncontrolled, or the space of the vocal is wrong. I'm gonna break down each one of those problems and how to fix it in a way that anyone can understand and follow along with. Let's start off by addressing the first problem, which is stopping the beat from fighting the vocal. The best vocals that sit in the mix are pre-planned to do so. Check out my beat by itself from a spectrum analyzer. Now let's play the vocal with it and see how it interacts. Everyone just made me more alone. You can see that the vocals are taking up that upper mid frequency range. But the problem is we have other instruments taking up that same space. Check out what the instruments sound like by themselves. You can hear a piano, you can hear a high organ as well. Those frequencies are covering up our vocal. Typically for vocals, you're looking between 500, maybe 1,000 and 4,000 hertz as the main beef of your vocal. So let's carve out some space for that by changing the arrangement of what the instruments are playing. In this case, I went through and deleted some of the upper octaves being played. Check out the difference this is already gonna make with just the synth bus. You hear that low mid focus? That means our vocal is gonna have a ton of room up top to actually sit. Let's check it out with everything together with the bass, the drums, and the vocal. Everyone just made me more alone. All of the fears and doubts I see. You can already hear it without processing, it's sitting much better. If instruments are fighting with the vocal range, it will never blend well, no matter how much EQ or whatever else you put on it. Some of the biggest instruments that are culprits of this are the guitars, the pads, and the synths. So take a look at those buses and see if you can turn them down. And once the beat actually leaves room for the vocal itself, it's time to move on to controlling the vocal. And what I mean by controlling the vocal is to fix any problems that you hear with the recording. But when you add EQ, compression, or pitch correction, you should have a distinct end goal in mind. Don't just throw them on because you saw me do them, or even just copy the settings that I use. We'll start off with EQ. And the 2 main things that we're looking for on vocals is muddiness, well, maybe there's 3. Muddiness, harshness, and presence. Typically on vocals, I like to high pass them up to 100 hertz to just get rid of any sub frequencies that we don't need. Then we'll be identifying the muddiness, which this one wasn't barely muddy, but I did hear some low mid honkiness in the 500 and 1K range. Everyone just made me more alone. This vocal also has a touch of harshness that I want to dip out. Harshness lives around 4K. Everyone just made me more alone. Especially on that me. Everyone just made me more alone. And then finally, I'll add a little bit of sheen up 10K and above. Everyone just made me more alone. And let's A/B that to hear the difference. Everyone just made me more. Everyone just made me more alone. If you're not sure where to start with your vocal, you can actually just upload an MP3 of it to this vocal analyzer that I built and use it completely for free. It will load the audio in, it will analyze some of the frequencies that are going on, and it will give you distinct recommendations for your specific voice on how it thinks you should improve it. It also gives you really actionable items on what to fix right away. Like I said, it's free. Check it out in the description below. The next thing that we'll want to tackle is dynamics, how loud or how soft our vocal is coming in. You can go through each vocal itself and manually clip gain them so that they're more visually similar, but a better way and a faster way for sure is to do this automatically with an automated vocal rider plugin. My favorite to use is called Magic Ride. What you can do is put it on, adjust the range, hit auto target, and it will automatically identify the best range to use. A little bit different, nice. Adjust the speed. This will help it hit the compressor when we do add compression much smoother. And typically I would add compression after this. So I'll just dial in something quick. This is now more for color than it is for actual dynamic processing. And the last thing that I want to do to control the vocal is pitch. I am not that far off pitch here, and the vocal performance was good, which I want to really emphasize is super important for this. But you can get a much more polished sound if you put it into something like Melodyne or Auto-Tune. In this case, I'll use my favorite, which is Melodyne. Let's hear what the difference sounds like in the full mix. Everyone just made me more alone. So now that the vocal is controlled and it's not fighting with the instrumental itself, it's time to put it in a shared space to really make this flow together even better. And we'll do that in two different ways. The first way is, of course, reverb. One of the easiest ways is by using buses. I'll create some new buses on bus 23 and bus 24 to give our reverbs a little bit more variety. As I'm choosing reverbs, I'm imagining where this might actually get played. I'll start off with ambience, and I'll just go through a couple of them till I find one that I like. Everyone just made me more alone. I like that one. And let's go into bus 23 now. Let's try the QRS, the Quantec Room Simulator, for a convolution reverb. Convolution reverbs comes from recording real rooms' reverb decay and then putting them into the plugin. They're some of the most realistic sounding reverbs that are available. We're gonna go into large rooms and let's see what the presets are. Private concert might be good. Let's try it. Take the reverb level up all the way. And all of the fears and doubts I see in front of me. I'm pretty happy with this as is, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to sidechain the voice to after the reverb so that it ducks down whenever the reverb is playing. I'll do that by adding a compressor here, go into sidechain, audio, newest vocal. We'll take the threshold down, turn auto gain off. I'm gonna take the release down so that it holds on a little bit longer. Everyone just made me more alone. So now that we have our basic buses set up, we can add them to our actual instruments themselves. I recommend doing this in small batches because each individual instrument will require slightly different things. To keep things simple for this tutorial though, let me just show you how it sounds blended over the entire submix of instruments. Everyone just made me more alone. And then after we do all of that, I like to add a subtle glue compressor to bring everything together even more. Everyone just made me more alone. Without the SSL and the limiter. Everyone just made me more alone. And here it is with the limiter and the SSL. Everyone just made me more alone. Getting your vocals to sit perfectly in the mix doesn't have to be rocket science. All you have to do is follow these 3 steps I've laid out. Carve out space so that the vocal has a frequency spectrum to live in. Next, control the vocal. Any harshness, any muddiness, any dynamic problems or pitch problems are going to shine through on the vocal and make it stick out even more. And then finally, use reverb, compression, and even limiting to help glue your vocal into the mix even more. I'll play you the before, which we started with at the beginning of the video, and then I'll play you the after, which we ended with now. Everyone just made me more alone. Everyone just made me more alone. If you still need help, you can go check out my vocal analyzer down in the description below, which will give you a great starting point catered to your specific voice. And if you like this video, I think you're really gonna like this video right up here, which condenses 1,000 hours of music production tutorials into like 24 minutes, something like that. Go check it out.